What's up, Warriors? One final video on how to generate Servqual results. Relatively straightforward. We're going to be using the Excel spreadsheet of our old good buddy Servqual Warrior 2024. I'm just going to park that down here. So why should you be here right now? And maybe why shouldn't you be here right now? And it's nothing against you personally, for sure. You probably want to be here if you've watched the other videos and or completed the classwork so that you have a very good foundation of the Servqual concept as well as data collection, results generation, and analysis. So if none of those things mean anything to you, unfortunately, you're in the wrong spot. You can certainly come back at any time, but I would recommend you to watch those other videos in the order that they are. So this is video number 4. Technically, it could be video number, I think, 2 Bravo. But anyway, what are we going to do here? What are we looking at? Well, the main point of this video is if you get data in a different way from your Servquals, how to recognize it and what to do with it. So this is actually relatively straightforward. So what are we looking at? Well, if I told you that these are all averages of the averages, or excuse me, these are question averages, okay? So I misspoke. So what am I talking about? Like right here in this box that I'm in right now, cell Charlie 4. What is that 3.3319? Well, that 3.3319 is the average from question 1 from the expectation survey. I don't need this here. Apologize for that. So to say it again, this is the average. If I surveyed 25 customers, this was their average response for question 1 from the expectation survey. And this 5.31 was their average response for question number 1 from the perception survey. So that's what we're looking at. And so we have those averages for each question excuse me, off the various types of the 2 types of surveys. And then over here, we're looking at our old friend. This tells us that questions 1 through 4 on either survey refer to the dimension of quality, the dimension of service quality of tangibles. All right, so great. What do we want to do from here? What can we do and what do we need to do? Okay, technique-wise, I always like to work P to E, not E to P. Even though the expectation survey happens before the perception survey, I understand that. But once I have the data, it's more valuable, or makes more sense for me to view it flipping this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab all that expectation data, get that white hand up, left click, and I'm just going to scooch it over here. And I can get rid of this or scooch these back. No, yes, boom. Okay. And I'm going to create a counterpart of these over here. Keep myself straight. Boom. Some nice little pretty boxes. Technique stuff. Neat spreadsheet is a happy spreadsheet. Okay. Now, I'm going to get the average of the question averages. So, perception survey. Questions 1 through 4. I'm going to get the average of those. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. And that looks like this. Boom. Now, eventually, so this is technique time. What I'm going to show you is a technique so that I just have to figure out the perception average of averages. And then I'm going to pull and drag that whole column from left to right and get the expectation average of averages. Okay. And we're just going to go slow here. Is this necessary? No, it's not necessary. First, let me show you how to do it, and then you can decide, and we'll talk, and those things. Anytime in Excel, when I'm going from left to right or right to left and dragging cells, and I want to keep some things consistent, well, I put a $ after the cell letter. So here, I'm going to put a $ there, and I'm going to put a $ there. And I'm going to close this. Now, that doesn't show up. So I could do that without the $, okay? I could highlight those cells, not put those $ in. I would still get 5.54. That's not the value of what I just did. It's not in that cell. It's when I go here. So, eventually, and we're going to do it right now, I want to get the average of these numbers. Do I want to go in here and type average of these cells? Well, I certainly could. There wouldn't, quote, be a correctness problem with that. For efficiency's sake, especially if I'm working under like test conditions, the more that I restart and, quote, hand enter things, I am kind of opening the door to make mistakes. Especially if I'm working with large sets of data. Now, under a test, you're probably not going to be working with large sets of data. I certainly hope not. If you're on the job, so that's a little bit debatable, but I just like the idea of that if I get it right here, which I know I did, and I can check that, C4 through C7, that's these four. So I have the numbers I did. Well, if I got it right there, when I drag it over, it's going to be correct. So why not do it? It's not that I'm lazy. I just don't want to make mistakes. So I'm going to grab this lower right-hand box and drag it over. And you see I get that 3.71. So am I going to do that every time? Well, I can do it every time as I go. Or I can even get more high speed up with the mad skills. So check it out. Here, I want the average of 5 to 9 from the perception survey. So I'm going to go down here. Do 5 to 9. While I have this up, I'm going to enter my $. And there's probably a more efficient way to do that. I think there's a key on the board that I can hit. I just don't know it yet, so I apologize. Probably one of you guys, if you don't know it, we'll figure it out within the next 5 seconds. I'm going to close that. We'll go down here. I'm going to do questions 10 through 13. That's these off the perception survey. I'm going to enter my $. Here, I'm looking at question 14 to 17. I'm looking at doing my $, dollar bill, y'all. And finally, here. Boom. 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 All right. Now check it out. Left click, hold down. I can let go. I can go anywhere now. That's going to stay highlighted. I'm going to come back here, grab that corner. I'm going to do them all at once. Boom. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I just learned that trick the other day, like this week. Man, all that time I could have saved and done so many other things. Gotten a few more reps in. Read more Batman. Anyway, walk the dog a couple more times. So here we are. Now we have our, what are we looking at? We have our average of the averages. Okay. And now we're just going to do our two-dimensional differencing. Here we go. So if this is 4, let's get this bigger. And let's center. So if this is 4, then this would be 3, this would be 2, this would be 1, and that would be the perception axis. This would be 5, this would be 6, that would be 7. Notice we got some fatter columns out here. We'll fix those. 5, 6, 7. Expectation axis. 3, 2, 1. Nice and pretty. Nice and pretty. Okay. Looks pretty good. Walk over 5.54, walk down here. Walk over 6.9, walk up 5.3 here. Walk over 2.4, walk up 4.05 here. Walk over 3.4, walk down 3.23. Walk over 5.3, walk up 4.14. First pass analysis. Sorry. Responsiveness, got to prioritize that. Customer has high expectations, not being met. Not good. Got to get back into those questions, see what those gaps are telling us, what those questions are telling us. Get back into what's going on in the process. Find out root cause. Empathy and service reliability. Pretty good. Got to hold what we got. Can't take our eye off the prize there. Whatever effort we're putting into achieving that, we got to sustain it. Tangibles. In contrast to our other videos, in this data set, this is telling us that we're putting too much into tangibles. Maybe this is like the auto repair place where you go to get your car fixed. What are the tangibles of the auto repair place? Not too many in terms of what the customer's looking for. Yeah, you got the check-in area. You say, hey, my car's making this knocking noise. And they say, okay, we'll work on it. Do you want to wait or pick it up? You say, well, I'm going to wait. And you go into the waiting room. So the waiting room and the stuff in a waiting room might be a tangible in this context. An example. Do customers care about the waiting room at the auto repair place? Well, to a point. But it's probably not as important as the ability, the amount of time they have to wait there while their car is being worked on, or the service reliability aspect. So maybe with this auto repair center, it's taking a long time to schedule the appointment. Like 3 weeks. You're going to have your car, not working for 3 weeks? I don't think so. And who knows? Maybe they got all sorts of crazy donuts and, imported coffee in the waiting room that you don't really care that much about. I mean, who goes, oh, I hope my car breaks down so I can go down to the repair place and hang out in the waiting room? Yeah. And then over here, assurance, this kind of, with the example of the car place, doesn't really jive because I would think that customers would have higher expectations of assurance in an auto repair center. But regardless, with this data, just focusing on what it's telling us, is that the customers don't have high expectations and we're meeting those not so high expectations. So, keep this where it is. Don't put more into this. Prioritize this area, sustain this one, and probably dial down the effort we're putting in here. Put less effort into here and figure out how we can repurpose effort that's being put into here. Not always that easy, but that's kind of the start point. So, recapping on this video, why did we do this in the first place? Well, if I give you data that looks like this, just realize what you're looking at. Okay, somebody has already done the averaging per question for me, but that's all they've done. So in other words, I need to be able to take the average of the averages per service dimension of quality. I need to be able to construct my two-dimensional differencing and then analyze what it means. All right, super. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got a little technique from Excel along the way of how to put that $sign on the right side of the cell and save you some time and gain some efficiency. And we will see you soon. Warrior on.